Alright guys, another 357 Magnum gel test for you here today. I previously tested these exact loads from a 3-inch. So if you want to see that video and the results within, I'll put a link in the description to that video so you can check it out if you want. But today we're using a 6-inch. This is a Rossi 972 or something like that, if I'm saying that right. And I was really impressed with the performance out of these. From a 3-inch barrel, again, check out that video linked in the description if you want to see what it did. But I couldn't help but think that the performance would be even better from a 6-inch barrel compared to the 3-inch barrel in the previous video. So that's what we're going to test today. And I really want to get these through a 16-inch carbine and see what they'll do. But today we're doing a 6-inch, and I don't have a 16-inch currently. In the future, I'll grab one, and maybe I'll find somebody that has one beforehand. In the meantime, really tight budget right now. So anything you guys can do to help the channel is greatly appreciated. Make sure you hit that like button. There's the Federals. Just a soft point there, which, you know, soft points generally don't really expand from a pistol. And again, check out that video. I'm not going to spoil anything, but these perform pretty good through a 3-inch, so I can't wait to see what they do through the 6-inch here. And then the same with the CCI. There is a hollow point, and they performed really well from a 3-inch. So again, can't wait to see what they do from the 6-inch. I got the velocities out of the 3-inch in that previous video, again linked in the description. But we'll put some over the chrono here through the 6-inch today and see what our 6-inch velocities are. I want to thank my brother Nathan for letting me borrow the Rossi today to do this video. We're using Knox 10% Ballistic gelatin. I'll have 2 blocks lined up. And BB calibration today is coming right in at 3 inches, which is great because in the 3-inch video, we're about the same level of penetration there with the BB. Alright, so like I said, extremely tight budget for me these days. I have upcoming revolver videos coming up, so I need to save some of that ammunition for those videos. So I think I'm just going to put 3 of each over the chrono here. You dig the glasses, they're by HTS Hunter Sky. There's a link in the description for them. And you can also check out my parts, accessories, and optics playlist. Did a little torture test on them, and they survived. Really impressed. So let's see here. We will do the Blazer first. They should be the slowest. And rated velocity 1150 for the Blazers, and then the Federal, the rated velocity is 1240. So we'll see if we get those numbers out of the 6-inch. $11.95, 12.06, 12.02. All right. I can't recall if that last one's a duplicate or not. But those Blazers definitely got advertised velocity. They came in a little higher, so let's see about the Federal here. $12.86, 12.69, 12.40. All right, so good. Both of those are coming in a little higher than advertised out of that 6-inch. All right, so at the end of the video, we'll get an extraction. Prior to that, we'll get a measured penetration, then the gel, retained weight, expanded diameter. We're going to do bare blocks first, and then worst case scenario, 4 layers of denim, as always. If you guys are looking to get a little scale, micrometer, caliper, anything like that. Knox gel I use, target stand, chronograph, and way more. Links in the description for all that. And check out my campsite page for things I cannot link to on here. Alright, so I wouldn't say brave is the right word, but we're going to be daring here. That was during some colder tests. May have been that caliber. I don't think it was. No, it was a 22 mag that first started busting that, but it was cold out. And this table is just not up to the task from that gel expanding. Hopefully I can get some freeze frames of that for you guys. The temporary wound cavity, which is massive if you can get it paused at just the right second, if it even captures that frame. Anyways, I'm going to try it without my wood shank under there that I've been using over there. because it kind of like clouds up the gel, sticks to it and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it busts the table today. It's about 70 degrees outside, so a lot warmer than when it was busting on me. So we'll see. I'm going to replace that table though with something more heavy duty. We'll have that coming up eventually, hopefully sometime this year. So bare block first, then 4 layers of denim. We'll start on the right side here with the Federal, the soft points, and then on the left side we'll do the CCI jacketed hollow point. I'm thinking these Federals are still going to exit out the back of the block, but what I'm after is the wound cavity. So here we go. Yep, straight out the back, but man, that wound cavity is looking nice. Definitely larger than the 3-inch. Again, check out that 3-inch video linked in the description. We'll go up there and check it out in just a second. We'll spin around first and do the jacketed hollow point by CCI.
The freeze frame here seems to be a smaller temporary cavity than that Federal soft point. However, I'm going to have to say that's due to me not having correct frame. Like, my frame rate didn't pick up the largest point of the expansion of that temporary cavity, because the permanent wound cavity you're about to see here is larger than the soft point, as it should be, because it's a fully expanded hollow point. So we just didn't capture that frame.
All right, let's see what we got here. You can see we definitely have a capture with the CCI there. All right. So, the Federal soft point. Nice stinking wound cavity. Again, definitely larger than the 3-inch. Check that one out if you missed it. Linked in the description. And just as I thought, exited both blocks. Because again, the soft points, at least from a pistol, they're probably not expanding, or maybe they're expanding ever so slightly, probably just blunting the tip of the nose. Like I said, I'd love to try that from a lever gun one day, which I will eventually when I can get my hands on one, and we'll see if maybe we'll finally catch one on the block if it'll expand beyond the diameter of the bullet. But your expansion is always, at least with a 357 soft point, you know, handgun calibers, it's always extremely limited with a soft point. But anyways, the jacketed hollow point, holy crap, that is a massive wound right there. I'm gonna have to get some measurements on this. That right there definitely rivals 9mm 40-45. It's a shame it's shallow, so I mean it's like 4 or 5 inches there, and I'll get a measurement on that for you too, but just absolutely massive. And then you can see it really slows down after that. And that's because that hollow point just instantly expanded, dumped all its energy. Really big mushroom on that guy. Definitely larger expansion than the 3-inch for the last time. Well, probably not the last time. Check out that 3-inch video linked in the description. Yeah. Let me get that guy pulled out here, actually. Let's get penetration. These are 12-inch blocks. So that soft point went 24 inches and kept going. 17, 18, 19 right here. So about 19 inches of penetration, which that's insane. You get that kind of awesome expansion, mushrooming from the bullet there, that kind of energy dump, and it still went 19 inches, which is absolutely crazy. So, and this is pretty good here. I've seen some plus P 9mm get larger cavities than this, but only just. That's 2 inches top to bottom there at the largest point, with virtually, if not literally, a non-expanding bullet there. So I mean, that flat nose, it causes a lot of disruption. It's the difference between, you know, an Olympic diver diving into a pool and then somebody just doing a cannonball. So there is more disruption there, so that's why you're getting that even if there's zero expansion. And then again, it's better than the 3-inch due to the higher velocity, even if there was no expansion. So check this. So that one just, you can kind of see a bubble there. That basically just reaches clear to the bottom. Ooh, we did get a table crack. And that guy is basically 3 inches up there. Let's check my table here. Just a little crack. Okay, it didn't completely blow it out there, but that's probably because that metal frame runs across. So yeah, that is just massive wound cavity there, at least for the let's see, gotta pull this out longer. Tastes wonderful. Where are we stopping here? About right there. So yeah, for about 4 inches, just absolute havoc there before it finally calms down. So there's that guy there, just looking absolutely fantastic. Okay, we'll take her up there, get a retained weight, get an expanded diameter. But before we do that, let's go ahead and throw those 4 layers of denim on here and see if that changes anything. All right, so we'll go the same order here. We're just starting on the opposite side. So this first shot will be that Federal soft point. Then we'll spin around to the right side this time to take the CCI jacketed hollow point. All right, very interesting. Again, don't want to spoil the 3-inch video. Check it out. We have an interesting result here. We have a capture, so I'll show you guys that in just a second. Let's go ahead and spin around real quick. Take that CCI jacketed hollow point. Let me show you guys what we got up here. Of course, I only know what happened with the first one so far. So you can see on the entries, clearly you can see the denim. So there's the Federal soft point, CCI jacketed hollow point, which, ooh, I almost misspoke and said, I'm sure we got a capture with that CCI jacketed hollow point, but we did not. So a little bit of a spoiler, but not much better result there with that one than what we got with the 3-inch. So she doesn't like denim. Okay, you can see the track there is dragging the denim all the way through, and she exited out the back. So obviously no hollow point expansion with that round through the 4 layers of denim. So the wound cavity is this guy right here. Obviously drastically reduced. It's not even as damaging as the first soft point shot was, the Federals, through the bear block, because it just acted like an FMJ. And then with that soft point having a larger front fascia, a wider nose than the jacketed hollow point if it does not expand, not to mention slightly higher velocity. That's why it's doing more damage there. So that one fails the denim test, love it or hate it. Now, the Federal, again, this was the jacketed hollow point through the bear block, in which it did expand. There's the first Federal through the bear block. Here's the second one. And it did a decent amount more damage. It's kind of hard to see because I know it's a little crowded in there. But the bloom is definitely wider. It travels into about the center of that track there. So it's doing more damage. And the reason it did that, and the reason we got a capture, is because it blunted the nose / we have the slightest amount of expansion there, it looks like. So it actually captured it because there was enough resistance. And it's not a good reason to do the denim test, so that creates kind of a makeshift semi-hard barrier, I guess. So when that soft point's hitting that harder than gel denim there, it's actually causing the nose to expand a little more there. Did more damage due to it, so there's no question that that's exactly what happened, because the wound cavity here for the first few inches is larger than through the bear block, and thus we get a capture just barely. So that's going to be about 23 inches there. Once again, tape measure tastes amazing. Just shy of 23 inches there, so a little over 22 and a half. Let me pull that guy out real quick and take a look. And that's indicative of, you know, a lot of people don't like the denim test. Nobody wears 4 layers of denim, but it's a worst case scenario. I can tell you, if you got to work outside in negative temperatures and there's snow blowing everywhere, you're wearing stuff with all your layers combined so you don't freeze your butt off if you're outside for more than 5 minutes. You're wearing stuff that's thicker combined than 4 layers of denim there. But it's also a good simulation for a thick hide animal. So in a way, you could kind of expect this bullet to do this, if I can get this thing open, on large game with a thick hide, you know, like a bear or something. It's going to be closer to the results you get with the denim there. So depending on what you want, if you're wanting a little bit of expansion, more damage, you're going to get that probably through a thick hide animal there. You know, 23 inches of penetration's pretty dang good, but without getting any expansion like that, obviously we're exceeding 24 inches. So, but there's that guy there, and we do have, not only did it blunt the nose, but that is a little bit of expansion there. So let's take this one up to the table and combine it with the other capture that we have and get some retained weight and expanded diameter for you guys. Thought you guys might find this interesting. I did. These little tiny holes here are from testing a 5.7 by 28 out of a pistol. And then right here's our 357 holes. But more telling is on the back side where they exited the denim. There's your little 22 cal holes from the 5.7 by 28. There's our 357 Magnum holes there. Obviously, clearly with all these rounds before there's any expansion, but there's definitely a huge difference there. Especially if you're not going to get expansion, it cuts a much bigger hole. I mean, the difference between 22 cal and your 35 cal here, it's not even, you know, twofold if I'm using that terminology correctly. However, on this, it's almost 10 times the size of a hole. All right, let's get our expansion here and retained weight. So the one Blazer jacketed hollow point we caught there through the bear block. You might see the scale flicker a little occasionally, slight breeze. It's very sensitive. 159.2. They're supposed to be 158 grain. So, yep, the extra is going to be from, sorry about the dirty fingers, trap gel and whatnot up under there. And then the one soft point that we got through the denim, again, 158 grain bullet, 159.1, and there's obviously no gel trap on that. So, it seems like they both come in at, for sure this one a little bit heavier than advertised there by about a grain or so. And let's see what I can get for expanded diameter here for you guys. This guy should be able to lay on the side. Again, you know, these are 0.357 cal, 0.357 of an inch. So we're just barely getting some expansion there, 0.367, so 36 cal. Just a little bit of expansion there. Again, if you guys are looking to get a little scale, micrometer, or anything I use in the videos, links in the description for all of that. I might have to put the camera down for this boy here. Let me see. There we go. 0.594, so let's just call it 60 cal from 35 to 60. So not quite double diameter, but I mean, look at that. That is great expansion there. So again, guys, that 3-inch video is linked in the description if you missed that one and you want to check it out, see the results. I was still really impressed with the 3-inch results. So I couldn't wait to get these in a 6-inch, and boy, they do not disappoint. Again, hopefully sometime in the future when I have access to it, we'll do a carbine test of these with a 16, 20-inch barrel, what have you. If you guys want to get yourself anything you see me use in any of my videos, links in the description for all that. Again, things I cannot link to, check out my campsite page. And you can find that linked in the video description or in my bio about section. But thanks for stopping by, checking this one out today, guys. Really appreciate it. And I hope to catch you on the next one.